You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bridge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bridge After Show.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Bridge After Show with some creepy music to start us off.
Creepy.
I'm here with Paige Sullivan.
Yes, hi everybody.
And guys, I'm Dave Klein. I feel like I have to do it this way to use this music.
Well, the way the show ended, this is very fitting.
It is very fitting.
It was a little bit horror movie for a second.
It was kind of Godfather to me. I was like, all right, we're in the Godfather now. This is how we do things.
See, I felt more like, you know, in that scary movie where the girl wanders into the woods. She's like, what's that sound? Never follow the sound. Don't follow it.
Yeah, Paige was like, never do that. Don't do that. I was like, what, adultery? And she's like, no, follow the sound.
Don't follow the sound, and don't do adultery, people.
And don't do that either.
Yeah.
But before we get into that ending moment, words of wisdom from Paige, let's go ahead and talk about the beginning where we've got Charlotte, because Charlotte is going to the funeral with, as we find out, Carl's daughter. We get to meet Carl's daughter, and they're on the way to the funeral. And at the funeral, there's that strange woman in the back.
Yes.
Graciela. Mm-hmm. So we get that ominous view of like, who is this woman just checking out the funeral?
Yeah, you knew she was going to be somebody. I actually didn't think she was going to be the, leader of the underground tunnel.
She's the godmother. Godmother.
I don't know who I thought she was going to be, but I didn't expect her to be the client.
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that either, because at first she almost looked like she was wearing goofy clothing to me for some reason at the funeral. I guess because everyone else was in black. I was like, who is this lady?
Yeah.
She just doesn't get it. I thought she was some crazy aunt or something.
I also kind of assumed when we were still at the funeral that she might just be somebody who worked at the home. You know, it's a funeral. It looked like it was close to the grounds. Maybe it was just a housekeeper, somebody who, was close to the family but didn't want to intrude on the funeral. I don't know.
Right.
Like somebody like Caesar or somebody who worked there who wasn't at the funeral, but...
I mean, I figured it was someone important for them to do that shot for just
yeah,
checking it
her.
out, like, what's up? I'm checking out your funeral from the back end. But we also meet Kate at this funeral, and Kate is the daughter of the husband. She's the daughter of Carl. Apparently they're like the Kardashians. They do K's for their names.
That's what I was thinking. The same thing. I wanted to be like, how weird is it that his name starts with a K? Because Carl usually has a C.
Yeah, usually has a C.
I mean, Kate's usually a K.
This is obviously what the writers were thinking. Obviously.
Kardashians all day, every day.
Every day. They just watch E all day long. But she's not a fan of Charlotte. We find out a little bit more about Charlotte in the sense where we knew that Charlotte came into money by marrying him, but I didn't necessarily know that he had a daughter through a different woman before he met Charlotte.
Well, we heard last week with the lawyer, he said, he has a daughter and this estate may go to her as well. So I knew that, and I had assumed it wasn't her daughter from the way that he said it, because if it went to her and her daughter, they're a unit, they're a family. And so I wasn't really sure, but I think it's just strange. They gave us a lot of information about Kate really quickly. She's getting drunk at her dad's funeral. She got drunk at her mother's funeral.
So she was wearing a sort of
risque
outfit, yeah, kind of showing her bust a little bit.
Yeah, and I wonder, bad genes. her mom passed away already, her father passed away. She seems like a young girl. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point, because they both died from diseases. It wasn't like they got killed in some sort of way.
Yeah, well, we don't know. Do we know how her mother died? We just know that she died.
We don't know, but I guess I was just assuming I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Because Carl died, she died. I don't know, but it is, so she has resentment towards Charlotte. She really dislikes her.
Right, so she definitely has major resentment. And afterwards, we get to meet Graciela, who's hanging out by the stable, by the horses, who are on their run. And I'm going to fix my mic real quick. And, yeah, so we meet her, and she kind of hints hey, you might want to keep on doing this deal with me, by the way, hey, and Charlotte won't have any of it. And I'm surprised that Graciela didn't put up more of a fight, honestly.
Well, she didn't have to. Did you, when she said, oh, that's Rio, right? And then she said, goodbye, handsome, to Rio.
Yeah.
I think she knew right then and there, I'm going to kill that animal.
Oh, totally. I was like, well, I honestly, I thought that there was going to be a Godfather moment when she said that.
Well, she is sending a message. She doesn't need to get angry. She doesn't need to put up more of a fight because this is her fight. She has more power than Charlotte. And you're getting the impression from all these people that people see Charlotte as a gold digger. Her daughter-in-law or stepdaughter called her a whore, take your whore money. And so people don't have a good taste in their mouth about Charlotte. But she genuinely seems like a nice person, and maybe she just fell into this marriage and...
Yeah, I mean, she does seem like it.
Because even Graciela says you were poor and you don't want to go back there. You did bad things to get where you are now. But is the bad thing being a gold digger? Did she do other things?
Who knows? I mean, she did hook up with Marco, and Marco's clearly not the richest guy in the world. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a gold digger move to do.
But she also has this strong backbone. I mean, she is standing her ground on the tunnel.
She's like, no.
And the way she treated the lawyer, it doesn't look like she's a pushover.
That was pretty awesome. I like that scene with her. But then I'm kind of mixed. As like the whole adultery thing.
Well, she's not adulterous. I mean, her husband's dead.
Okay, true.
Marco's the one. I'm so upset with Marco.
Either way, though. Either way, I don't. Either way. But Ryan Willison on the chat says that he didn't see Graciela being the client, and Lions fan agrees and thought that Graciela was a widow or the murderer when she was in the back. So. Kind of, although Ryan doesn't think it was a murderer, but I mean, actually, I think Graciela, she's pulling the strings. She probably has murdered a lot of people.
I think she has, but I don't think she's the murderer.
No, I don't think she's the murderer, but I think
because the murderer was asking for Carl to pay money, and she knows Carl's dead.
But I definitely think she's like a sort of godmother, like she's in charge of some sort of
maybe she's
a cartel mob or something like that.
Yeah, she's in the cartel family.
It's like the cocaine drugs that were going to Miami. That was actually a godmother who was in charge of all the cocaine that was in Miami.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it could be similar to that.
Who knows? I mean, she's definitely a powerhouse.
Definitely.
In some way.
Yeah, so after we get all of this info, we also have the crime scene. We're back at the crime scene where Sonya and Marco Ruiz are speaking with Wade, who is the lieutenant, and he's now on the scene checking it out. And Sonya just always being so observant. She immediately knows where to go off and find the area where apparently the killer was watching from.
Yeah, and she just picks up on things, and that's what I think they like about her. She sees the things, and even when she's interrogating somebody, she can tell when they're lying and when they're not, or she feels when they're lying and when they're not. But in other circumstances, she can't read people. And that's the weird thing. So I feel like she's very in tune with her job and her responsibility as a detective. And she follows the rules. And I think she's just thorough. Where other people aren't, they don't think twice about things. She really analyzes.
Yeah, that's kind of funny, too, because, like, during the interrogation scene, how she's like, no, I don't think he was lying. I trust him. I'm just like... You're the worst with reading people's emotions. I don't know. Like,
I think it's the eye thing. I mean...
Well, the eye thing where he kept on looking away or zoomed in.
But when she asked, did you kill these people, he looked right at her and said, no, I did not.
Yeah.
So I think she knows.
Right. Yeah, and that is a one of those things that you would look for when you're trying to read people's faces. But you think she'd be able to apply that to everyday life, which she can't because she can't read anybody in everyday life. You would think,
but maybe the fact that she doesn't feel emotion to these people, she doesn't feel emotional towards Steven. She doesn't feel bad his sister's missing. She doesn't care. She doesn't really feel empathetic towards him. So it makes it easier for him to read him.
Yeah, that's a good point because she just says she sees truth, lies, and like the whole white lie thing. She's like, why would you do that? She does see that it's a lie.
Yeah, she knows a lie and what's not a lie. She just doesn't get the reasoning behind it.
Right. We're not having sex at my office.
That was hysterical.
We're not. No, we're not doing it here.
We can't do it here. You can't be here. You shouldn't be here. Can I have your number?
Please, please.
He's brave, man, going back for Sonya.
So we also get part of the force is going to be hanging out with our cop, who's kind of an interesting character.
Manny?
Manny.
Manny Stokes.
Manny Stokes. I don't trust that guy at all. So it seems like neither does the lieutenant. Yeah, Wade doesn't seem to trust him either. He's like, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything to this guy.
Yeah, he said get information from him, but don't give him anything or try to give him very little. I think, like you said, he pops up all the time. Why are you always around? Why do you always know what's happening? Maybe Manny Stokes is the murderer. Maybe he's the man.
I don't think he's smart enough.
No, I don't think he is
But
either,
the whole coyote thing, though, makes me... That automatically, to me, puts in my mind, okay, this is not a good guy by the fact that what he did with the coyote in the other episode. So I don't trust him at all. I think that was the symbolism to mean, like, don't trust this guy. Or maybe he's just very anti-immigration. That might be all it is. But I just got in my mind, don't trust this guy from that whole sequence of events.
It was weird.
It was pretty weird.
But now he's on the job with... Is his name Cooper? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The other detective, and so he's kind of babysitting Stokes. That's basically what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
basically.
babysitting.
Yes.
He's probably like, oh, great.
Yeah, so Detective Cooper. So, and we're finally finding out some of the people's names, on the side characters' names too, as we go along, which is nice. And we had the closed captioning while we were watching.
So good.
We found out actually the creepy guy, stalker dude's name, which we will reveal later.
Yes, that was exciting.
That was very exciting.
Thank God for closed captioning.
So we also have the Maria scene during this point, where we do see cowboy boot guy.
Maria.
With Maria, and that's all we know about this guy is he has cowboy boots. The killer has cowboy boots.
So we were thinking it was Scary Guy.
Right.
Or because he had cowboy boots, and that's something that they showed you, and focused in on last episode, and he tied into a lot this episode as well. I mean, with us seeing Steven and his neighbor and all of that, so he seems like he's touching a lot of different people in this.
Yeah, definitely.
Or so it seems, because we're assuming he's on with Maria, but now I'm not so sure.
Right, like I don't necessarily think he is. So I think this is still a character we might not have met yet.
Right.
Because everyone's out doing something else when he's doing the calls. But speaking of Steven, we get the first scene with him enjoying the sun in his underwear, doing some yoga poses. He wasn't doing yoga poses.
He was washing his feet. Or was he? What was he doing?
I think he was just washing his feet, I think,
was
because
just
he had the bucket
washing
of
himself?
water, and I'm sure he doesn't have a shower there, so that's probably all you can do.
Yeah, it's just weird that he hadn't been back to his apartment. He has an apartment.
Yeah, he does. I just like I don't know. I just like imagining him in Breaking Bad underwear doing yoga poses. It just made me crack up.
I know.
Thinking about that.
So funny.
Sad. I wish. But yeah, so Steven is then in his apartment, and again, the whole case of Sonya being so observant, they end up finding his place and knowing that that's who to check out on. They find his trailer after he's left, and he's not there. Marco just wants to bust right in, and her being straight up by the rules, by the book, won't let him do it.
I also think that it's America and Mexico. I mean, in Mexico, I'm sure they don't go get a warrant before they break down a
Well, I'm
door,
sure.
you know?
I'm sure that's like the difference is like, because Marco just doesn't understand. He's like, okay, so he goes to the window instead.
My one thing though throughout this whole episode is that Marco and Daniel and Marco's wife, everybody's getting across this border so fast. I'm gonna swing by after work, or
I know, really.
I'm just gonna go cover a story in Juarez. It's that's how
Almost
close
just
it
like,
is.
okay, I'm done. I'm over.
But they make it seem like that's how easy it is to get back and forth. At least when you're an American or you have a green card or whatever it is that you have.
Right, because Alma's Hispanic, and she got across very easily.
Yeah,
so
she's a Mexican resident.
Right.
I mean, so you assume she's not a U.S. citizen of any sort.
Yeah, but she got across just fine.
With her son, Gus. So he is a son. He's not a brother. We
right.
didn't know
At
who
least
he was.
that guy's a son who's checking out Sonya a little bit.
Damn. That's what he said.
Damn, yo.
I think it's so kind of sad how Alma is so nervous that Marco is going to like cheat with Sonya.
I know.
We're almost so nervous, and then he goes and does it with somebody completely off the grid that she's never gonna. Well, she actually probably saw her. I mean, they were passing in the office that day. I mean,
all I was thinking was like, nah, you can trust Marco. He's a stand-up guy.
he would never
He's a
with Sonya.
stand-up dude, not a stand-up.
Well,
guy.
I didn't see that happening. I really didn't see that happening.
No, I didn't either. When he came back, I mean, he did have a real reason for being there.
Well, I don't know if she instigated it.
She did instigate it.
He didn't instigate it, but
because he also said like, okay, it's getting late. You're probably tired. I'm gonna head out.
And she's like, I'm not tired.
But he just didn't do anything to say no.
No, and he went in full force. I mean, once it started going, he was very passionate about it, which makes me so mad. His wife is pregnant and at home with his 3 kids.
Yeah, 4 now. But he tried to get it done. Tried to get the surgery done. He's a stallion. Surgery can't stop him.
No, I know. He's still
surgery
having
can't
kids.
stop him.
He's still having kids. I don't know. That was a sad twist in the case.
It was a sad twist. We keep on getting off topic to this topic. Like, everything leads back to Marco.
It's so
being
hard
adulterous.
with this kind of show, though, because all of these different characters are somehow intertwined.
Yeah.
Because Steven's being questioned in the murder of Maria. And then Charlotte's brought into the office because the murderer called Daniel, who wants to talk to Carl, who's dead, and it's just everybody is somehow involved with one another.
And let's go ahead and talk about with Steven too, about him he did seem genuinely upset during the interrogation when he found out that his partner had been killed and strangled, because he really didn't know, and he seemed to actually have real. I read real emotion from that from him.
I did as well, and he asked, "How's her cat?"
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure the cat was okay. And that's where I come off. I was saying before the show that I feel like he also has he just doesn't seem to connect with other people when he talks to them, and he doesn't really look them in the eye. And when they say, oh, she's dead, oh, wow, how's her cat? I mean, maybe he just reacts different than other people when you hear your neighbor was killed, but
But no, really,
know.
how's the cat?
How's the cat
doing?
okay?
Is the cat okay?
I know, right?
I don't think the cat's gonna be able to deal with that.
I know, but it's crazy. And then but you also see emotion with this storyline with his sister.
Right.
Which is kind of sad because we were wondering who she was. Who's the girl in the picture? Who's the girl on the wall? It's his sister.
If we believe him still.
I believe that's his sister. He's looking for her.
Right. And we do get the scene then where he's back looking for her right after the wars because he gets out and he's looking for Marina. And then we find out that the scary dude from before, his name is Valdez. And that's the guy who's looking for him and searching for him because something's missing from him. So Valdez is there and Steven kind of hides away.
Yeah, behind two people having sexual relations.
That's a good place
That's a good
to hide.
hiding place, I know.
As long as they're loud ones.
I know. Well, they were. So, I mean, that was convenient. But, and that's also why I don't think he's a murderer because he has this vendetta. I mean, he really wants Ava back.
Oh, yeah.
And we also don't know where she is. Did he let her go? Has she started a new life?
I mean, we do know that the garbage only had burnt clothes because they would have seen
no burnt body. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So just burnt clothes, but was she naked when she left? Did he give her clothes? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. And it's funny because Lions fan on the chat was saying that it's like you need a notebook to take notes to keep up on each case because it's so intertwines, like you were saying, Paige. And Ryan Willison says a notebook and colored pencils to keep track of how everyone relates to each other.
Yes, because
we have one of those grids at like a police center. It's like this is how they all like a spider web.
You know those big Venn diagrams you made in school.
Right, and the spider webs.
Yeah, and it's because they all are linking somehow, some way. Everybody's involved except for Sonya. She seems so. She's the center of the case, you know, she's really trying to dig into it, but everybody else somehow knows one another, and
right.
It's weird.
So let's go ahead and talk about Daniel, who's kind of off doing his own thing for the most part, but he intertwines as well because he's the one now providing info because he's at the police station when we first see Daniel, and he's speaking to Hank, and Hank kind of tries to make this arrangement.
You're messing up Breaking Bad and this show.
I know, it's the underwear that's throwing me off.
Hank and Wade. No, it's
Wade.
Detective.
No, his name is Hank Wade.
Oh, is it Hank Wade?
Yeah, his name's Hank Wade.
Oh.
So.
Well, now we're confused. Two first names, man.
Hank Wade. His last name's Wade, so you'd say like Lieutenant Wade.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's why I called him Wade. Well, yeah, so Lieutenant Wade, Hank Wade.
Yeah, but yeah, so Lieutenant Wade is, he wants to speak, they kind of make an arrangement. So basically, I don't know how often these types of arrangements, usually when you see a show, usually it's like the cops are against the press and the press are trying to do their own thing, but he tries to straight up make this arrangement like, hey, if you give us the info that you get from the killer, we will break all the stories for you first and give you all the info first.
I actually feel like that probably happens.
I'm sure it does. I'm just saying in shows we don't see it happening, really.
We don't see it in shows, but I bet in real life that happens, and it's mutually beneficial for them.
It is.
Because the murderer has selected Daniel.
Yeah.
They've selected him, so the police really don't have a choice but to keep him in the loop and to keep him close to them because I mean, if they don't include him, what's his reasoning to give them any information? This murderer is calling him daily now.
Yeah, and then that for him would be like, let me break this story, as opposed to like...
And then people are finding out about it before the cops can even gather any information. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah. So it's definitely in their best interest to make a deal. You know what it is? I just got done reading Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and they hate each other in that book. Sorry. Aside, but that's why I was like thinking like, wait, but cops and reporters hate each other. It's just from that book. Yeah. But yeah, so it's definitely, I agree with you. It's very smart.
Well, he doesn't like the cops. He's not friendly. Daniel's not a friendly guy.
Well, he doesn't like anybody. He's just an alcoholic. Apparently, he's snorting something.
He was snorting something.
I don't know what it was. Right as he walks in the police station, but we know alcoholic for sure. Mm-hmm. So just not a pleasant fellow. But he heads off with Adriana, and they're going to be working together now on this missing girl case.
To keep him honest.
Right, to keep him honest.
So he must not have a great rap. You know what I mean?
Not the best.
You don't have to usually send somebody out to keep a journalist honest. That's what a journalist's job is, to be honest, non-biased, to get the details.
Unless you're Daniel.
Unless you're Daniel Fry, and when it's to drink beer and to get tequila and to
cerveza,
snort things.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even when he goes to her house, he's like, beer, tequila, help me.
Yeah, you just can't stop.
But it is scary. They give you a little insight, Adriana and Daniel, when they're in Mexico. They give you an insight into really what's happening in the streets. They call it Juarez one time. They don't say the name. And,
right.
And it really is. They're walking on the street. They're bartering over fruit, and a guy gets shot in the head. I mean...
Right in front of them.
Daniel freaks. freaks out, and he's talking about it forever after, and it's so funny because Adriana takes him home, and she doesn't say anything about it, and she's like, oh, we got backed up, they shut the street down, whatever. He's like, somebody was shot, this is what happened, and all the sisters are just ignoring him because that's what they live in. This is their daily life.
Yeah, and you see just that stark difference between, like, as you said, it's just they're so used to that. That's every day to them. Like, oh, yeah, someone got shot. What new happened?
I know, exactly, but that's kind of sad to me.
Yeah, it is.
But we also get to learn a little bit more.
And they start throwing their pussy at him, to quote the show.
I know. Gosh, this show.
Tossing it out there.
This show is intense.
They were playing basketball with it.
He kept saying, he's like, keep tossing anything.
Shooting hoops.
Toss whatever you want. But we learned that she's not about to toss anything because Adriana
seems to maybe be into girls.
Well, that's what she hints at. And she says, because he asks, your sister has 3 kids and she's 18, 20 apparently. Adriana corrects him. 3 kids, she's 20 years old. Your other sister's here with kids. How did you escape? And he said, how did you not get pregnant? And she says, well, I don't like guys.
Right.
And she said, I think that helped.
Definitely.
Which apparently it seems like it did. She got to go to college. She has a good job as a journalist. I mean,
yeah. Because when she said there's ways not to get pregnant, I was thinking like, oh, yeah, birth control. But
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
I guess there are other ways, too. Just not liking guys. That works as well.
Abstinence,
right.
Those things. They teach you in health class growing up.
What's that?
What's abstinence?
What's that?
But I like her. I think she's going to be a big player.
I think so, too. She seems very smart. She definitely has her head is put on right, screwed on right. So she definitely, I agree with you. I think she'll be a big player going down the line. And we've got Lions fan talking about the whole snorting something thing about how don't they know that cameras are in the stations when they're snorting something? What morons some criminals are. I mean, this guy's not a criminal, but
Well, he is a criminal. It's illegal.
Yeah, so, and they seem to agree on the chat as well that Adriana is a lesbian, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, they made it pretty clear.
Right, they made it pretty clear. I mean, it could have been possible that she was just like, well, I didn't like guys, or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, she said, I don't like them.
Because they're like Daniel.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't like guys if that Daniel was the only one I knew. I'd be like, no, thank you.
You're like, wow, I hate guys.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
Daniel's a little crazy. But when we were saying how they're working together, I don't know if you noticed in the preview, this is obviously kind of jumping ahead. I'm not giving anything away, really, but he was wearing an FBI jacket. Daniel,
I didn't notice that.
He was wearing like an FBI, like the blue cover ones. And so I don't know if he is really diving in and helping them and working on this case now, next episode. But I think the team is getting closer knit,
Nice observation.
I think it's less detectives and journalists versus each other and working together.
Now, something else, too, that happens is the big moment while they are together is he gets the call. And the call is that from the killer, that what the killer wants now is he wants, in order to free Maria, the only way is if he gets $1 million split 4 ways between Samuel Holston, Buzz Larson, Brady Moss, and Carl Millwright. Carl Millwright being the dead husband.
He's newly in the ground. I mean, he was literally just buried. Of Charlotte. So that was who Carl Millwright is. So that's one of the $250,000 that this guy wants from. But they are the richest men in El Paso. That's the reason why. And he said this is a young Mexican girl that nobody knows is missing. Why would rich white men care?
Yeah.
Good luck getting them to pay up. He said they don't care when a Mexican girl goes missing. But when it's on them, I think what he's hoping is they know if they don't give the money, she's going to die. Right. It's on them if she does. It's their fault. They could have changed it. But will that change them?
No.
Do you think Carl was into the immigration thing for the money?
Carl? It's hard to tell at this point with Carl because, like...
We don't know him.
We don't know him at all. All we know is, like, the moment of him wanting a divorce right before he died. And the way his kids and Charlotte seems to not know him at all anymore. Charlotte's like, I don't know what he was like anymore.
But I also wonder, he's on the bridge when the murder happens. He's dying. Is there a connection there? Did somebody... spark this heart attack. I don't know if you can really make that happen for somebody, but it's just all coincidence that he was there, and then Marco let them pass, and Sonya didn't, and now he's such a huge part of this case, and he's being named. So does the murderer not know he's dead?
But I mean, it definitely seems like he's helping El Cartel in a way.
Yeah.
So I mean, you'd think you'd be safe south of the border if that's what you're doing. So I don't know.
Unless the deal went sour. I mean, maybe he said, I'm going to close it.
Yeah, that could be the case.
I mean, we have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm just
purely
thinking out loud.
speculation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm thinking out loud because it just seems too much of a coincidence that they were on the bridge at the same time.
Now, speaking of thinking out loud, last week I was right about Marco getting the email, the complaint from Sonya.
Oh yes, you were. You're very
Boom.
right.
So yeah,
Boom
Marco.
goes the dynamite.
Blam. No, boom goes the dynamite. You have to say it with no emotion.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, too excited for the bridge right now.
So,
yeah, you called that. You called it.
So, so Marco gets this email from Sonya, and he's not happy about it. He doesn't seem too upset about it, but he tries to get her to like take it away. And she's like, "There's nothing that you can do to make me not issue this complaint."
And he said he would handle it.
Yeah, he just says he'll handle it, and then he stops to do something for someone else by getting Kitty flowers. So he's just good with dealing with people.
Yeah, he seems like a
Again.
people pleaser. I mean,
With the flowers for Kitty.
He barely knows Kitty. I mean, he's known her basically. I don't know how long they've been working together at this point. I say 2 weeks.
Right, like a week, 2 weeks, something like
So,
that.
and he knows it's her birthday. He gets her flowers. It's so funny when he's like, "These are from Sonya and I." No, they're not. Why would you lie? Well, I didn't give them to her.
I don't understand.
Oh, if somebody did that for me, I'd be like, "Yeah, happy birthday."
Yeah, I'd just be like, thanks, I'll pay you back on the
Well,
on the
Sonya
flip
paid
side.
for it.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
That's
Sonya
what I
did
would
pay
have said
for
if I
it.
were Marco. I'd be like, "Well, you technically paid for it."
Yes,
so
they are from both
it's
of us.
from both of us.
Good point. He
That's
just
what
had
I
the
was
thought.
thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to play Sonya's game, you got to get on her level. You got to give her a reason why.
Exactly.
That's what I would think.
Great point. Great point. So, we also have, let's see, I think that's the Sonya. So, yeah, your favorite moment to talk about this whole relation with
Marco?
Charlotte and Marco.
Marco and
But
Charlotte.
first we get Charlotte coming in with this whole case, which is Charlotte just wanting to give information. Marco, they seem to be giving her a call because they're trying to find out if there's any relationship because of her coming in through the way everything happened. Like,
Right.
well, he's dead now. Maybe there's some relation. So they're trying to find something from Charlotte, and as Marco and Sonya talk to, or Marco specifically talks to her because she won't talk to Sonya.
Well,
For
I wouldn't
whatever
talk to her
reason.
either because she was so rude. And even when she finds out he was dead, she goes, "Oh." You know, like, "Oh." I wonder
Yeah.
if it's because I held up her ambulance for 20 minutes or
I don't. Yeah, I wonder if she even registered to her.
That it's
like,
Charlotte.
That.
It probably,
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't register to me that she was the same woman, but Marco obviously recognized her.
Right. Well, Marco seemed to recognize her for. He seemed to think she might have been a little attractive. Maybe that's why. Like, I'll keep that girl in mind.
Well, that storyline is just making me mad.
Yeah, well, dish out. This is the time. Because then he goes there and just tries to at first get the
Signature.
The signature to prove that he didn't take any money because that's what Sonya thinks happened. Which it seems it's very clear to me right away. She goes, "Well, I didn't." That was her immediate response. So I think she definitely didn't. I completely believe her.
I believe them that there was no money. He seems like a good guy. Obviously not a great husband. Maybe he's a good guy, not a great husband. Because he didn't even hesitate. I mean...
No, nothing.
Nothing. Not a push, not a we shouldn't. And I think the thing that infuriates me is when they're, like, grabbing and stuff, you can see his wedding band. And I'm just like...
Yeah.
Do you forget that you just had your wife and you were reassuring her that you love her and that Sonya's really not that great, and which she's not, but I mean, you don't know this woman.
Look, she didn't pay him before, so let me pay you now.
Let me pay you after.
Let me pay you now for what you did for me.
I feel like this is going to be ongoing.
But here's the other thing too, and it was funny with the way you were screaming at the TV when right before she asked him about, because he talks about how, well, you know, relationships are up and down, and she asked him,
we didn't say up.
well, how's your relationship going? And he just doesn't respond.
Yeah, she goes, is it up or down? And he didn't say a thing.
Doesn't say a thing.
I would know. I was like, up, say up. It's up. She's pregnant. It has to be up.
Yeah, and the way that we've seen them interact too, they seem very coupley. They
Loving.
seem very loving.
That's why I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know.
But
He's got a good thing going.
I know. It was too good to be true. He couldn't have been that great.
It's funny because we were just talking about last week how he's like the one character who seems not flawed. He doesn't have anything wrong with him. He's like, you never really see that in a lot of shows that like, wow, he was really just a stand-up guy. Here's his flaw. He's an adulterous man.
To
and
me,
that's
it's
a
a major
pretty
flaw.
big flaw.
Yeah, huge flaw.
So he is a flawed character. He's not our Wonder Man.
No, unfortunately
No more.
not. But, I mean, while they're, I'm assuming, making love, because when she says goodbye, she's in her nightie. You know, things were going down in her barn. I don't know how they didn't hear that.
Things were going downtown in that barn.
God.
Yeah, that seems like something that would be allowed, but
Maybe
you
not.
think, I don't know. I guess I've never murdered a horse before.
I know, so sad.
So,
Poor
yeah.
Rio.
Poor Rio.
Gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. But then Sonya has her relationship moment,
With
which
Paul.
is with Paul, who's in the office and wants her number.
I think it's cute. I think I like Paul.
But we can't have sex here right now, Paige. This is work.
She doesn't even say hi.
Paige, this is work. We're not doing it right here.
We can't have sex here.
We can't do this.
We can't have sex here.
We can't.
But I love how her boss and her coworker are just like, oh gosh, and then they just walk out. They don't even they know this is just her,
right?
You know, and so they obviously put two and two together that they slept together, but they're just like they don't even say anything. They
it's
just
funny
walk
that they
out.
don't even reassure him. Like, by the way, she's always like this.
She's kind of weird. Yeah.
Or like just reassure him, like, don't worry, she gave you her number. She probably likes you or something.
Well,
because
as a guy, she likes him.
Well, she at least likes sleeping with him.
Maybe that's what she thinks, though. He wants my number so we can have sex.
Maybe.
And she's cool with that.
Because she's like, well, I can't get dinner, no. And then she doesn't. Well, I mean, she just doesn't even think like a normal person. Even if you can't get dinner, you say like, if you like someone, you'd be like, well, we can't get dinner now, but maybe some other time. And she doesn't throw out any other suggestions. It's just like, oh, no, we can't get dinner.
Yeah, and then he was like, maybe another time. She said, you can't be here. That's what she said. You can't come here. So I'm interested to see where this goes. He genuinely seems to be interested in her or intrigued by her.
Right.
Maybe she's just a woman of mystery to him. But I think the way they're treating his character, it seems like he's going to be around for the long haul this season.
Yeah, so Lions fan on the chat says, with Marco and Charlotte, opposites always attract. It'll be interesting to see what happens between those two, and I'm sure there is going to be more between them in the future. Lions fan also then goes on to say, if something's too good to be true, usually it's not true, with a potential love interest. So maybe this is also too good to be true.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know, but I am definitely, like you said, I'm definitely curious to see where they're going to go with it as well. So then we kind of end with more happening with the case for the show. So big moment as the video is released.
So here's my question. He's feeding it directly to the website. How does he have access to the website?
I know. Seriously, his video camera, how does he have access to the website? His camera is in the middle of a desert doing this video feed. What is this, the best Wi-Fi connection in the desert?
He's got a killer hotspot, man.
Yeah, like
right?
He's like, you didn't see it outside of the viewpoint, but there's actually like 20 cell phones all trying to create hotspots.
Seriously though, like how is he doing this? This has to be, I don't think he's with the cartel. I don't know if he's American, if he's Mexican. I don't know, but he obviously has some sort of pull.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely.
He's
got to have some sort of pull.
He's got money. He's smart. He's planning this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the motive really, other than to get people's attention about immigration.
Right. The other thing is he's been like doing this planning this for years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even think he's necessarily going about this the right way. Like, what does it prove if like a millionaire decides they're not going to pay $250,000 to save someone they don't know? That's one person
in America, when somebody who didn't have a lot of money would probably give their last $5 to help.
Right, but like one person, like, okay, you're proving your point there, guy.
I think it's a stab at, in this case, Texas, El Paso,
right?
The rich people, the politicians. I mean, I don't know if any of those guys are political.
But here's the other thing. Maybe if like 3 of them gave up the money and 1 didn't, he still wouldn't save the person's life and be like, well, that proves it. Not every rich person is a good stand-up guy.
Exactly. Like if Carl didn't give it because Carl was dead. Like Carl's dead.
Right, but everyone else gave it.
Everybody else gave it. Like
she'd still get screwed.
Boom goes the dynamite. There goes Maria. Well, Maria is
she's
suffering
just gonna,
in the desert.
Yeah, that's gotta be a bad way to go.
She's already done this. She's already trekked through the desert with no water, braved the cold at night, didn't drink the poison, and just her luck, she gets picked up by a murderer.
Just her luck.
Yeah, he's the murderer because he's the one who killed all her friends.
At least she didn't drink the poison. So
I think she probably would have rather drank the poison. I mean, it was much quicker death being tied to poles.
Right, now she's being tortured to death.
In the desert.
Yeah.
I mean, fingers crossed she's saved. I think they kind of built her character up enough where I don't think they're going to kill her off.
Yeah, because she seems like, you're right, like they built her up to be like the strong, independent, likable character. Or, I mean, on the other hand, maybe they did that so we would like and root for her, so we want her to survive just to kill her. And then you're like, why wouldn't the rich guys do that for her? Exactly. She's a great character.
But I don't think it's necessarily the rich guys. Now because you hear them in the previews say, give him what he wants. Give him what he wants. Because not only does El Paso PD have to deal with this because he's coming at them, but it's being broadcast for all of El Paso.
Yeah.
All of the world. I mean, anybody who wants to log on to that website. I mean, I don't visit it daily, but...
I mean, I go to El Paso daily.
Who knows?
You
don't? No.
I go every day.
I wonder if they have like an El Paso, that same website that we could visit and like.
Yeah, I do wonder. Maybe we'll have to check it out.
I'll give it the same name.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It could also just be, well, I don't know. I guess it's probably not a real website because.
But you also wonder, are they going to try and take it down? I bet they would try and take it off the website.
Right. Yeah, they're going to try. I mean, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it. But I mean, it seems like from the previews a little bit early that they're going to be trying to find a location.
I think they should
that's the
be.
key.
Yeah, I think they should be.
In the middle of a giant desert.
And he's watching from afar, so we see, because the view, it's a camera just on her. There's nobody there.
Right,
It's
he
just
doesn't
her
have
and
to
a
be there at
camera.
all.
He's not there. So is he doing what he did last time, and he's just standing up on a hill and waiting for her to die?
He's just sitting on a hill, Indian style, watching, meditating as
Is
he
he
watches.
just watching and hoping people will do the thing what he wants them to do? I mean,
yeah, that's the question. Is like, what is his what does he want to happen?
Yeah, what does he want people to give him? What is he asking for? Because he's not being very direct, other than he wants money. But what is the end result?
Because here's the thing: if he actually got the $1 million, would he just be like, "Okay, I'm done now," or would he be like, "Oh, well, on the plan B of my next murder case"?
That's
you
the
have
thing.
to wonder what his backup plan is, or what if someone actually proved him wrong, what he would do.
What did he get from? The thing is also, at the same time, he kills the judge, who's a white woman. We assume he kills Christina, who's a Mexican woman.
Right.
Then he kills all these other Mexican people. And so, but you're telling us that their lives don't matter to Americans. That's what he's saying. Americans don't care about the Mexican people, blah, blah, blah. So you think, oh, he must care. Well, then he's killing everybody.
Right, so he clearly doesn't care either.
It doesn't make sense to me. If you care so much about this immigration and people's well-beings and Juarez and the dangers and the murdering, you wouldn't start murdering people.
Right. Yeah, mind of a murderer. Yeah, I don't know. I totally agree with it. That's like a kind of weird,
just twisted.
Yeah, it's just a very weird motivation, because you're exactly right. Like, well, if you're upset about all the murders going on, why are you then taking people and murdering them to prove your point that you don't like murders?
I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it. And so, I mean, the show's supposed to have a lot of twists, so we'll
shall
find
see.
out, but...
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very twisty, turny show, so we shall find out.
Well, so far, every episode I've been pretty shocked by things.
Yeah.
This week was Marco,
Yeah, oh, that was... that was shocking in a bad way.
In a bad way. Well, I don't think
bad way.
they're going to shock us in good ways. I mean, the show is very intense, but it's, most of the plots are about murder. So
No, that's a positive, happy thing. I know what you're
positive,
talking about.
I know, whenever people ask what the show is about, I'm like, Mexico, El Paso, immigration, killing people,
Adultery.
detectives.
Well, the thing is, I don't know, it's funny to me, though, because, I think to you as well as me, the whole Marco being adulterous thing was more upsetting than all the deaths happening in the show.
I know, because...
I was like, Marco, no!
I think it's because all the deaths that have happened, we didn't know them.
Right.
We didn't really know the immigrants crossing the border. We saw a little bit of them, but we didn't see a lot. And one of them didn't seem to be a great guy because he was about to bludgeon somebody with a rock. So
right.
I didn't really have strong feelings about him. We didn't know Christina. Never met her, never saw her character.
Yeah.
We didn't know the judge.
And even Maria, we didn't really know that well.
No.
It was just like, all right, she seems cool, but she's captured. Whereas Marco's like the character we got to know, and we're like, but you're a good guy.
And I still, it's funny because when they introduce somebody and give you a lot of information, not even a lot, but like Ava, I want her to get away from the crazy person, but I want to make sure she's alive.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming she is because Steven kept saying, I help people, I help people.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they're giving you information about certain characters, but not others. And I think because they want you to be attached. They want you to be hurt by what Marco did.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
I'm
definitely
hurt.
do.
I'm upset.
I'm upset too. Lions fan on the chat thinks it was a confusing ending and thinks that the murderer does want her to die as the end result. So I mean, I would assume so he can prove his point.
I know,
and I think that's probably what the murderer wants too. Like I think the murderer doesn't want to be proven wrong. I would imagine. I mean, because really, what's his plan? Like if he's proven wrong, it's just like, oh well, I guess I'm done with my giant 4 years of planning.
I know, I agree, but I hope Maria lives.
It's like random reference in The Dark Knight when the Joker's proven wrong by Batman.
Well, I haven't seen that.
People are good. Really?
Well, I have, but I don't really remember it.
Okay.
Sorry, bad reference for me.
Wow.
I'm sure you guys out there know what he's talking
wow.
about.
Okay. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about some comments from you guys from last week. So on YouTube, Big Bad commented that the skeleton is adapted by it's an offshoot of Catholicism. That skeleton that we saw when Maria and the group came and saw the skeleton there, and also the skeleton underground
right
in the passageway, and it's adopted by many Latin offshoots of Catholicism and countries who live in particularly violent areas. So
okay, so Juarez.
So Juarez, for example, would be a very violent area, and that's where they adopt that skeleton. And that's a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
And the water.
Yeah, and then also the water thing was very cool too. That apparently, that's just something that with the whole coyote system in the church, and they will actually set up drops of water for people who are trying to be illegal immigrants and flee up north. They will set up that. So that's actually something that does happen. It's not just this random thing.
So that's why, like in most cases, when they said it's like a blessing, it's a miracle, it really is because people are doing that to be kind.
Right.
And in this situation, it was, not not so kind.
Yeah, so thank you so much for commenting. And also thank you, Paige Sullivan, for commenting on the YouTube
I know,
as well.
we're like, there's 2 comments. I forgot I commented back.
Like, who did this second comment?
Whoops.
Paige, wherever you are, great comment. Wherever you are.
You're welcome.
Somewhere out there.
I loved it.
Go ahead and like your own comments.
I wasn't the thumbs up, though. I didn't thumbs up our own thing. So don't worry, guys.
All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. So we get a little bit from the previews. I mean, not much, but we got like
Not a
tiny,
lot.
tiny bit. We just see that they're going to be trying to find the same Maria. And that Charlotte and Graciela are going to further have issues, that they're going to be doing a little bit more fighting. I think that, I think that Charlotte will eventually come on top after some struggles, but I think we're going to see more. Actually, I think we're going to see Marco helping Charlotte out with her issues.
I agree. I think Marco and Charlotte are going to get deeper involved. I think with this happening, he's got connections to Mexico. I think she'll... You know, she's hurt. She's in a dark place. She's going to open up to him. I mean, he's the only person that she feels probably like she can confide in. I mean, I'm leaping here. We don't really know. They just had sex, we're assuming. But, you know, she's connected with him. I think she'll tell him what's going on.
I think they just kissed and she put on her nightgown and said goodbye. That was it.
She's like, hold on a second. Let me slip into something more comfortable before I walk you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, I don't know. But I do see them getting deeper involved. I see us learning more about Sonya. Still.
Yeah, definitely. I think Alma, it's funny because something we didn't mention is that she's bringing the kids up north because she's afraid for them. Something made her afraid, that meeting that I guess happened at her workplace or something she heard. So I think, again, I still think that the kids are going to get in trouble. Alma's going to get in trouble. And I think Marco's going to have to make some sort of decision between Charlotte and Alma because I think Alma's going to get into trouble around the time that things are really heating up between Marco and Charlotte. That's when Alma's going to get in trouble.
Well, he better know where he stands.
And yeah, he's got to know where he stands and what he's going to do. So that's what I think's going to happen with that. Do you think Alma's going to find out about this?
No.
No?
I mean, she's not going to be in America, really.
Right. And it's not Sonya. But will Sonya be able to read the lie? Do you think Sonya's going to figure out that this is going on?
No.
No?
Maybe. She's good at reading people.
She is good at reading people.
Not their emotions, but the truth versus a lie. She is good at that.
Yeah. And Ryan Wilson, by the way, I do want a statue. He meant to say trophy. Because when I was right, I was gloating about it. He was like, what do you want, a statue? I mean, trophy.
So funny.
Yes.
He does.
Yes, I do.
He wants a trophy.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed this AfterBuzz showcase. And once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at the Dave Klein. That's Klein. Or go to my website, djk-online.com. And if you guys like video games, join me every Saturday on AfterBuzzTV.com for Game Control Live, 12 p.m. Pacific Time to 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time.
If you're a gamer.
Yeah.
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 And I'm Paige Sullivan. You can find me on Twitter at Paige Sull. That's Sull. And you can also find me at my website, perfectpage.com. And you can check me out this fall on more shows. Right now, this summer, I've only got The Bridge, but I am very happy with it.
Very happy.
Very happy.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.